Hello, hello. I am back to help you do this thing called life. So, we have been talking about Jesus, his emotions, his temptations, everything that made him human, just like we are. And we've been trying to glean from his experiences, his relationships, um, his practices to see what it is that we should be doing. And for the last few days, we were talking about the whole incident surrounding Lazarus's death and him being raised from the dead, and just talking about all the interactions between them, among them as friends, because those were Jesus's friends. And I think where we left off yesterday was talking about how even though Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead, there were some people who left there that day having witnessed that and went to snitch. They went to turn him in. They went talking to the Pharisees about what he was doing. And at the end of chapter 11, it talks about how, they started having or continued having these conversations about Jesus and what to do with him. And it was nearing time for Passover. And so they knew that people would be there from everywhere. And as people came in or came to that area, they were looking for Jesus. Some of them just really wanted to see him, see the man that they'd heard so much about. And they would stand around the temple looking for him, and they were wondering, like, is he going to come? And it says that the leading priests and Pharisees had publicly ordered that anyone seeing Jesus must report it immediately so they could arrest him. So we go on to chapter 12, and this is of St. John, and it says that 6 days before the Passover celebration began, Jesus arrived in Bethany, the home of Lazarus, the man he had raised from the dead. A dinner was prepared in Jesus' honor. Martha served, and Lazarus was among those who ate with them. Now, I want to let me stick a pin right there. I misspoke the last couple of days when I was talking about Jesus and Mary's relationship, and the things that she had done coming up to this, like all those things that showed how her allegiance was to him. And I said that she had um, put the ointment on his feet and wiped it with her hair. That wasn't then. They talked about that in a different, back in Luke. They discussed some of the things in Luke. No, in Luke was where they talked about when Martha got ticked with Mary for not working. But now we're about to see. So it wasn't before Lazarus was raised, it was after Lazarus was raised that verse 3 of chapter 12 says, Then Mary took a 12-ounce jar of expensive perfume made from essence of nard, and she anointed Jesus' feet with it, wiping his feet with her hair. The house was filled with the fragrance. But Judas Iscariot, the disciple who would soon betray him, said that perfume was worth a year's wages. It should have been sold and the money given to the poor. Not that he cared for the poor. He was a thief, and since he was in charge of the disciples' money, he often stole some for himself. Jesus replied, Leave her alone. She did this in preparation for my burial. You will always have the poor among you, but you will not always have me. When all the people heard of Jesus' arrival, they flocked to see him and also to see Lazarus, the man Jesus had raised from the dead. Then the leading priests decided to kill Lazarus too, for it was because of him that many of the people had deserted them and believed in Jesus. So, we're talking about how Jesus dealt with this thing called life. And y'all, one of the things, we've said it several times now, there is this guilt by association. There's this thing when people have it out for you, Nothing you do will be enough. Even if they celebrate you in the moment, it will be momentary. And that's not everybody, but for those who have determined to be pitted against you, when they've determined within themselves that that's going to be what they do, nothing you do will be right. And I've said it before, and I believe it is worth saying again, that if you know that you have a call on your life, and you know that what you do is going to attract ridicule, it's going to change your life. It could be a good change, but knowing that there will be fallout from it, I encourage you to share that with the people around you. These people that are with Jesus, it's not like they haven't heard it. Jesus has been to, especially getting closer and closer to his death. Um, he really, really, really started telling the disciples over and over the things that they would have to go through, the things that he was going to go through. And although it seems so far, so far fetched, so out of reach that they couldn't always wrap their heads around it, he told them. And I encourage you, tell the people around you what you believe God has called you to, because they will be affected. They will be affected. And it may not always be a physical death, but sometimes character assassination comes right along with um, obeying God. It comes right along with the call that there will be some who will just seek do what they can to you. Always remember that obedience is best. Remember that whatever God brings you to, He'll bring you through. Remember that it's always for a greater good. But I'm begging you, take that time. And now, especially this time of the year, we're approaching the end of the year. It's a lot of times people do like self-evaluation. They look at, what's going on. They start hearing for the next year, hearing for the next phase. As you hear, share with those who are closest to you, who you see going with you. And although it may not always be so, and you pray about who to talk to, but it's important because God has something great in store for you. Um, I hope my comments didn't seem scattered, but as I read, that just seemed a point to bring out once again, because and it's being highlighted in the scriptures over and over, and so I feel like we may need to highlight it over and over. Um, that association um, has its privileges, but it also has a cost attached. So just speak with the ones you love. And then those of you who have been called, you better dig in. You got to pray. You got to listen intently um, and pray because, yeah, you're going places, but it won't be without a fight. This has been One More Minute with Marcy. I'll be back tomorrow with another moment of momentum producing motivation. Until then, stay encouraged. And remember, you got to flutter before you can fly, but flying is in your future.